The Stalder press is one of the moves that I've been always wanting to learn for a long time, but just never got around to it. Over the past few years, I've been so preoccupied with training one-arm related positions that I didn't really dedicate any extra time to work on this specific press, because I know deep down training the Stalder will require a lot of energy, but more importantly, time. In the next 3 months, I'm going to dedicate a portion of my training to work on the Stalder press. And I'm planning to do this all on my own, just training myself with the current information and knowledge that I have, so wish me luck. If you have never heard of the Stalder press before, it's basically when you press into a handstand from the sitting position with your legs wide open. It's a really beautiful entry, and I think it's about time that I learn it. Technically, I'm supposed to know it by now because I know all the other one-arm positions, but the Stalder press is on 2 arms, and I'm supposed to know this press, but I don't yet, which is one of the reasons why I want to learn it. And we're going to document this whole process from start to finish, partly because I want to hold myself accountable because everything will be on video. And another thing is that I can show you the process from beginning to end. So just by looking at the Stalder press alone, I can already see 3 parts that make up the entire entry. You have the starting position, which is the Stalder sit, the press itself, and the straight hold at the end. The Stalder position is probably going to be the weakest link out of the 3 because just 6 months ago, I had 0 to none hip flexor strength. And I've been training them on and off in the past 6 months, and this is kind of where I'm at now. I know it's going to require even more hip flexor strength than what I have now in order to complete this challenge, but I'm definitely going to include that into the training. As far as the press itself, it's pretty much all strength and power. Power to me is an easy element to gain because it's less technical, but with enough training, it will come. It's just going to cost me a lot of energy. So strength in the press positions will be a big part of the routine as well. And finally, we have the straight hold, which is the ending position. That's something I'm very familiar with, so no worries there. So the plan will be to dedicate around 10 to 15 minutes every day out of my regular training schedule to work on this press. In the first phase, the first few weeks, my plan is to do the straddle negative and slowly descend down and to dabble into the Stalder range and then pressing myself back up. That means I'm going to drop my feet so low and forward that it's close to passing my forearm, then pushing myself back up. These negative returns are some of my favorite drills to do for regular presses like the straddle and the pike, so I would assume that they will work well for the Stalder as well. So I'm planning to do just 10 reps, 2 sets, so 20 a day, and hopefully that will level up my strength. And then I'm going to pair that with the V-sit holds for 40 seconds, 3 sets, basically to strengthen my hip flexors. So hopefully by doing all this, we'll kick my body into gear, but not into overload so that I'll have extra energy to train all the other things that I'm working on as well. Just to let you know, my training is about 3 hours long, and I'm planning to do the extra 10 minutes at the very end of this training. And that's advice that I would give every one of you if you're training press. Do them at the very end, because if you do it in the beginning or the middle, you're not going to have any juice left for the rest of the training. So let's check back in a week and see where the progress is. So that was week 1 in the books for the Stalder press training. Overall, I'm feeling super exhausted right now because it's been 5 days in a row of straight handstand training plus the extra work doing Stalder press. Normally, I do 5 days in a row just fine, but adding the extra reps and V-ups in there actually made it a lot worse energy-wise. Pretty much since yesterday or Wednesday, actually, 2 days ago, I've been feeling super overtrained. So hopefully next week I'll have less of that because I'll be getting stronger. Been eating more foods just to kind of replenish my energy levels. But overall, I feel stronger in my hip flexors and also the press strength. I can kind of feel it being more efficient in a way that I'm pushing up into the straight handstand. So hopefully next week I'll have more strength and I can go even lower with my legs to go past my arms just a little bit so I can get closer to that Stalder range. So that's it for week 1. I'll check back with you in week 2. Let's go. All right, so this is my second week. Last week, week 1, I did a lot of negatives. I went pretty low on some occasions, but I focused more on quantity where I did 10 in a row and just to kind of build that strength and conditioning back into my pressing game. And today or this week, I'm gonna try to do less presses, but I'm gonna try to go lower. So I'm gonna bring my legs, my feet through my arms or past my arms and then go back up. So hopefully my conditioning would be a lot better than last week, although I don't know, doesn't seem like it yet. But hopefully I can go past the point where I was last week and be able to press back up. Endurance to me for presses doesn't really matter all that much. As long as you can do a few in a row, I would say that's a pretty good enough standard. But right now it's about getting that strength in the frontal range where my shoulders are pretty plunged. So I'm looking to build more strength there, but just doing less reps. All right, so let's get it started. So quick update, this is week 3, end of it. As you can see, earlier this week, I hit my first Stalder press. I was pretty happy about that, stoked. And then the day after, I did about 8 separately, not in a row. But this pretty much proves that, okay, now I have the strength to go up. But the Stalder itself, the hold, the hip flexor strength is not really all that there. So I feel like if I just improve on that hip flexor strength, if I'm able to lift my legs just a little bit higher, everything can just go a lot smoother. One revelation I had was when I'm pressing up, I didn't really need to bring my hips up so much, but I really need to open my shoulders because my shoulders were so plunged forward that if I just bring them back into the middle, everything can be stacked much easier. So that's kind of my findings this week. In the next week, hopefully I can lift my legs a lot higher than before and just have an easier route with the press, because I think for me personally, that's the hardest part. In terms of strength, it's getting up there. But yeah, wish me luck. Week 3. All right, so here we are, the end of week 4, and I guess I could say I can do a Stalder press now. It is not the finished product. It is not by far the prettiest Stalder press I've seen, not even close. But it did exceed my expectations a little bit because originally I think I set a goal of 2 to 3 months, and this is the end of 1 month, 4 weeks, and I could successfully complete Stalder presses, and not just one. I can do it over and over again, which is a really good sign. The training has been working, to say the least, but like I said before, I do want to clean it up. Mainly, it's my legs, my hip flexor muscles. I want them to be a little bit stronger so I can lift my legs even higher. And I think in the strength department, I'm doing just fine. I'm able to lift up, especially when I'm fresh, before I do any type of endurance work or flags. When I try the Stalder, it's been working pretty great. But at the end of 3 hours of training, adding the Stalder training on top of that, the performance there will take a hit more or less. But I know for sure the Stalder hold and the press itself works pretty good when I'm fresh. So the next step is to make it even more effective, even if I'm not fresh, and to lift my legs even higher in the Stalder. So I think that will be coming up in the next few weeks. I will be training relatively the same thing, but just kind of adding more intensity to the training. I am a little surprised by how little I need to do in order to get the skill, even though, yes, I am starting at a higher level than most people who are probably training the Stalder press at this point. But basically, the things that I've been doing is stretching my hamstrings. I've been doing that in the beginning of every training religiously, and doing the leg lifts with my back against the wall Originally, those were hell for me, but now they feel a little bit better. I'm not, you know, I'm not suffering as much, but I am still suffering when I'm doing them. I do about 25 reps per set, and I do about 4 sets, sometimes 5. And as far as the Stalder press itself, I'm going up and down 5 to 8 times a day, and I take breaks in between. So the next goal would be to do at least 2 in a row or a couple in a row, just to up my endurance. And also, the next goal I think would be to start a press on the canes. So that would be exciting. I think the canes should give me a nice challenge because, well, they offer more space for my legs to move, but also my legs can go even lower, which can be a good or bad thing. We'll find out. But I am pretty excited going forward because at least right now I know I can do this skill, and I've proven to myself at least that I can do it over and over again. Right now it's just kind of cleaning it up. I think handstands is kind of like this. The first year I could hold a one arm. Um, I was like holding the one arm, but it wasn't the prettiest one arm in the world. But I did it, and I could do it over and over again. But it took me another year just to clean that up, to bring my arm a little higher, to make it more stable, to make the hold times longer. So I think this will be the case. Same thing for the Stalder. It's just gonna take time for me to polish and refine, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, wish me luck. I'm still gonna keep doing this, and hope I don't get too exhausted. I am pretty exhausted right now because it is a Friday, and yeah, the Stalder press training is no joke on top of the other things that I currently do. So wish me luck. All right, we'll see you guys a little bit later.